that about 3 or 4 times. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping, yeah, because otherwise Wednesday won't have any product. 7 o'clock. You just passed your eye test. See, if you couldn't have seen that light.
I don't do very well reading or something like that. You know, I can't see to read.
It was about how you got your food when you were a child. You home grew it on farms and whatnot, and how you kept everything cool.
Well, as I said, we kept milk and butter in the spring branch, and of course we had a place to put the meats and stuff, you know, and he always salted his meat down, you know, in a big old box, you know, then he'd take it out and hang it up in the room, and then he'd build a smoke under there, you know, to keep it, you know. Yes, yeah. And otherwise, we just, of course, that's the only meat we had, you know. We just raised our own meat, you see. We never, you know, we didn't have a Frigidaire or anything back in, you know, not even an ice box or nothing, you see. And so we just kept our milk and butter in a spring branches, I said, and we grew everything: beans, peas, potatoes, corn. Well, we didn't have to buy anything but coffee and soda and salt and baking powder, stuff like that. But Mama generally made her a soda out of corn cob, put them in the oven and bake them, burn them, you know. Take it out and put in the bread for soda, you know, and she browned the bran out of the meal for to make coffee out of. And so we just, yeah, we always had beans, peas and potatoes, and of both kind, and well, just, we raised everything, you know, that there was to eat, you know. And what we didn't raise at home, we'd go to Squatchy Valley, you know, and work down there and help the folk down there, you know, help on the crops and the farms, you know. And so we'd get tomato and stuff down there to can, you know, and Mommy canned up a lot of stuff, you know, in the summertime, where she's canned 400, 500, 600 cans at a time, you know, in the summertime, you know. So we had all that during the winter, you know. And we always got out, cut our wood and everything, you know, and didn't have to buy any coal or nothing like that, you know. So we always made it pretty good, you know. And
that's fine. That's the big Sunday dinners, how people look forward to Sundays all week long because they're going to get to have a nice meal and plus get to visit with people and find out what was going on.
Well, there was Sundays, sometimes be 4 and 5, 6 families at our house at the same time, you know, and had cook and have a great big dinner, be 3 or 4 tablespoons at a time, you know, to eat, you know. They all couldn't eat at one time. The kids would always sit out and play while the grown-ups ate, you know, and all that, you know. Yeah, and so we just always had, just like I said, just growing food would grow, you know, fixed for the Sunday's dinner, you know. But sometimes it'd have chicken and gravy, chicken and dumplings, something like that, you know. But outside of that, we just had our own growing food, you know, to fix for the Sunday's dinner, you know. Yeah.
That's fine. Now, this one here we're going to talk about, Lilles. A lot of people don't know what it was like back then to grow up on a farm. All they've lived in is downtown the whole life. So we want you to talk to those people like that they don't know, and you explain to them the hard work and all that went on around the farm.
Well, there's a lot to do around the farm. You got to keep your fences built up. You got to clean up your new ground. I've got out and cleaned up new ground in the snow, pile brush in the snow. Dig the brush out of the snow and pile it. Go back over here, boy. Get on over. Go on. And we'd build fences in the snows and all that stuff, you know. We'd clean up the new ground in the fall, you know, for the coming spring, you know, so we'd have a spot of ground to raise. You can raise real good potatoes and corn and beans in new ground, you know. And we'd always clean up a spot for in the fall for spring's planting, you know. And
can we do that again?
Well, because the dog jumped up and we just start over again. Here's the thing. Tell like you did about building fences and how you on the new land and stuff, but also, Lilles, tell us a little bit about how you get up first thing in the morning and what you do and how you'd work all day long.
Well, we'd get up in the mornings and we'd go by daylight. If we was going to work at home, we'd get up and go carry up water for my wash or anything, you know, and cook with, and get out and gather up the wood to cook the dinners with, you know. And then we go to the field, maybe eat breakfast. I tell you the fact, we didn't have much to eat at breakfast time. Most time, a lot of times, we'd have a piece of cornbread and a spoonful of melted grease or a spoonful of sugar with that, you see. Now, you might think I'm telling a story, that's the way we was raised, you see. And then we'd go to the field and work, maybe all day long, not get any dinner, you see. We didn't go to house for dinner, we'd stay in the field and work, you see. Clean up new ground, or building a fence, or, you know, just whatever would be doing on the farm, you know. We always was out there and help Dad do. We help make cross ties and everything, and the stave bolts for the shingles for the house, you know. They'd cut them stave bolts and then the split and make boards, you know. Shingles for the house, you know. Yeah, we just always just got out and worked it, just, you know, everything, you know. We didn't sit back like kids do these days and times. You can't get them out like that these days and times. No. And I said walking to the valley and working all day long. And if we didn't leave before daylight, we'd generally get us up a load of wood along the road. You know, we got long day and run late right before we get it that night. We'd come, we'd always be late, you know, and just know where a load of wood was. And I'm getting carried on to the house, start cooking with, you know, to build fires and things. And we didn't have a lamp, we had a lantern. You know, and most time we'd have a firelight with a fireplace to eat by and everything, you know. No, we wasn't raised up like people is these days and times. No. People know what to think if they had to do like we had to do when we was growing up. I don't believe they'd ever make it these days and times like we was raised up.
Okay, that's real good. Just two more questions, Lilles, and we're finished. If you can tell us about how common it was for everybody to walk, never even blink an eye. If you walk 5 miles or whatever down the mountain over to Dunlap and back and forth, you walk all from morning to night, never do anything but walking and never think anything of it.
Well, we didn't think anything about it. No, sir, go down where, as I said, walk off, work a day, do a day's work back home, walk back home at night, and right straight up a little hill, as I said, just that little pig trail, you know. And walk to Dunlap and get a load of grocery down and carry them back home. That's about 17 miles from home, too. That's the way we got our groceries and all, you know. Yeah, as I said, I had it rough when I was growing up, and I'm still having it rough. But the good Lord let me make it so far, so you know, I appreciate what He has done for me, you know, and let me be willing to be able to do, you know. And so, as I said, lots of them don't know what it is to do like we was always done, you know. Yeah.
That's super. Wedding day, and if that, I don't remember if that story, that prank you pulled on him with the tobacco, was that on the wedding day or near it?
Yes, sir. The same day we went and got married. Yeah.
All right, tell us all about that, because that's a cute story.
Well, he'd been off and got the married license, you know, and brought him in, pitched him over on the dresser, and he had him a pack of tobacco, that country gentleman. He pitched it up on the dresser too, you know. Well, he went off somewhere that afternoon, so I got that pack of tobacco and undone it. Just took a bit of that paper off easy, you know, and put it back and undone it. And got me a Prince Out tobacco can, emptied out what I could, and then went and kid got me a little mug out of the kitchen and put the rest of it in there, you know. So when he got ready to go that afternoon, he said, well, I better put this tobacco in pocket. I said, I ain't got about one more smoking one I got in pocket. So he got putting it, I couldn't keep from laughing and save my life. I had to get it out of his face. To keep from laughing right in his face, he noticed something was the matter, you know, so. We went on, got near the schoolhouse, and he said, well, I better get me a smoke before I get there. I won't be able to smoke when I get there. So he undone that, you know, and shook it out in his pipe, you know, and struck him out, put to it, and lit it, put it up. But it wouldn't burn. And so he dug around there, and it still wouldn't burn. He emptied that out and filled it up again. He thought his stem was daubed up or something, you know. He cleaned his pipe stem out, and it still wouldn't burn. And my brother-in-law was with him. You know, he got the can of Prince Albert tobacco and put it in his pockets, you know, while he emptied it out, you know. So he said to my husband, he said, his name was Walter, you know, to call him Doc, you know. His brother said, oh, Doc, clean that pipe out and fill up your pipe with some tobacco to burn. And so he did, and he lit it, and it's all right. But, buddy, I couldn't keep, we laughed at him, and he never did know the difference we got back home. But he took a big laugh about himself after we got back and found out what it was, you know. And hadn't been for his brother-in-law, he hadn't got no smoke on the way to the schoolhouse before he got married, you know. But I don't never forget that. They said, how did you undo that and fix it? Well, you couldn't even tell it been undone, you know. I just eased it all off and put it back on and fixed it and tied it back just like it was. You couldn't even tell it been undone. So
Okay, that was fine. What'd you fill it up with?
Little bitty fine trash I got down on the edge of the house
All
with the
right.
door.
Lillis, that was real fine, but I tell you what, if we can have you tell that again and get as much of a chuckle out of it as you did, but we forgot to tell them what you filled it with. You just told them you filled it up, and we didn't tell them what it was. So let's start over and tell them about that, and then after you tell that story about the filling it up, then go ahead and tell about how the actual wedding ceremony. So we'll start again, and you tell us about putting trash in there and the whole story, and then tell us about your wedding.
Well, as I said, I got us to pack it back off the dresser, and I got the Prince Albert can in a little mug out of the kitchen, and they emptied out in the Prince Albert can, packed it all in all they could, and then I put just that little mug, you know. Well, my brother-in-law knowed where I put the Prince Albert can, so he just kind of put it in his hip pocket, you know. So when we got near the schoolhouse, my husband said he'd go to bed taking smoke before he got there. He wanted to be able to smoke after he got there, you know. So he pulled it out of his pocket and undone it and filled his pipe up and kept smoking and puffing to it, and it never would burn, you know. And he cleaned it out and cleaned the stem out and everything and filled it up again. It still wouldn't burn. And my brother-in-law said, "Oh, here, Doc," said, take it and get you good smoke. Speed your pipe up for some, to smoke some of this good tobacco, you know. So he filled his pipe up for that, and that trash, you know, I got on the floor and filled it up out of that trash, you know. So he filled it up with that tobacco, and he never did have more trouble with his pipe, you know. He smoked it and went on the schoolhouse. So we was married right in front of the schoolhouse, standing in front of the steps. First school ever I went to. Now that's where I got married at, standing right in front of the steps. We went in and out to go to school, you know. And so we walked down there, you know, and walked back. Oh, it was about 1.5 miles or 2 miles, you know, to where we went to. And me and my husband and me and my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law, we all went to the wedding, you know. That's all there was there. Well, besides you know, there's others, his family, you know, there, but that's all there was of my family there, you know. And so we went on back home, and he found out about that tobacco, and he tried to take a big laugh about him himself, you know, after he found out what I'd done to. He said, "How in the world you gonna do that and get it fixed back?" And couldn't tell it, or you couldn't even tell it been undone, you know. I just fixed it back just exactly like it was and everything, you know. Yeah, I filled up that little fine trash out there.
Let me and listen and nod and smile a little bit, and that'll take care of these little shots we're doing here. I don't know if I told you on the phone, but our little Christmas, this was the best Christmas. I've been married 5 years, and this was the best Christmas of all.
Oh, really?
I think the reason was because we got 2 little ones now instead of just the one, and it just felt more like a family. And then my little girl's 2.5. She took little Brandon, who was 7 months old, and she'd carry him right up to the Christmas tree, and Brandon would reach to those packages and kind of claw around, and then he'd rip the packages open. We let him open the packages, and then Ashley would look and see what it was, but we just made it kind of, I bet we took an hour to open the packages, just letting the little kids play with it and stuff.
Yes.
And he's crawling, he's not walking, but he just had a whale of the time, and it made for a nice Christmas where all of us were involved and stuff. He gets to the point now, he'll crawl up to like your couch, and then he'll reach his arms up and pull himself up, and then he'll kind of stagger around along the edge of the couch. And let's say he's where your knees are, he'll turn around, reach over to the edge of this chair and grab it, and then he'll